Trinidad mandatory waiver question. Did you hear anything Friday?
No, I have not yet.
That play where you went back into your own end zone, you kind of rolled around. Can you take us through that? Like, how do you not lose your composure during a play like that?
Yeah, I just feel like, as a player and as, a playmaker, I think that, there's sometimes in a game where you kind of just black out or, the game just kind of moves so fast where you're not even thinking about what you're doing. And I think that was the situation. It was 3rd and 7, had to make a play. I know we were down at that point, I think 19-24, so a scoring drive would have been huge. And then I just felt like that was the best chance, to run around and then just find a way to, get a first down, and that's what happened.
Keewan obviously had to kind of knock a guy over there to get that first down, just the toughness of him on that play.
Yeah, he's very tough. He takes a lot of hits. I'm not surprised he's, been healthy throughout the season, but he's taken some big hits throughout the season. And, that just shows, he's just a ball player, and he just wants to do whatever it takes to win. And that's, recovery, making sure that he's getting treatment in the training room. And, yeah, he's just a tough player.
I know we've talked a lot about your journey this year, but has it hit you that you guys are a win away from playing for a national championship at this level?
Yeah, it's really crazy to think about. I was in the same position last year. We were playing Harding. It was a different team, a different school, and a different division. But yeah, it's really cool. I don't think it's not hit me. I think I've kind of lived in the moment and just enjoyed every moment with that.
Going into halftime, you guys went 4 possessions without a score. Was there any message from yourself to maybe your teammates, your offensive unit, to maybe just kind of light a fire in your unit? What was the kind of message or thoughts going into halftime?
Yeah, we played a great first half, I think. I think we left out those 3 points during that last drive, which was critical. But our guys weren't phased. We weren't, fazed by, being down at half. We knew that, it had to be our second half. It had to be us winning in the fourth quarter. And that's why I said in the team, I said the second half has to be ours. We just have to execute, play ball, and eliminate mistakes, and that's what we did.
Trinidad, on the big play to Stribling in the fourth quarter, was that a called play? And if not, did you see something? Did Georgia show you something? Did you say, wow, he's open, let it go? Just wonder how that process went with that play.
Yeah, so Georgia's really good at, batting the ball down. Coach Smart does a great job with teaching that with their defensive line, kind of jamming and then kind of reading the quarterback's eyes. If it's a pass, get his hands up. So they did a great job throughout the whole game with doing that. And I was trying to hit a slant, or we were originally going to call a slant. It was man. And then Coach was like, hey, you can alert this, fade, to Strib right here. And then we knew it was, cover 0, cover 1. And Strib beat him off the line, and then I just put air under it, and then Strib just, finished the play.
How many messages and texts and stuff did you have when you got back to your phone?
Yeah, my phone was buzzing. It was crazy. I think I'm still responding to people or need to respond to people. I try to get back to, everyone that reaches out. But yeah, my phone was blowing up after the game.
Any surprises in there?
A couple, famous people followed me. I think RG3 had tweeted out something. I talked to Tim Tebow after the game. That's a college football legend. So that was really cool to, hear his words and hear what he thought about the game. And he gave me his props and gave the team his props as well. So that was really cool.
What's the general impression on Miami's defensive front so far?
Yeah, they got dudes. Their front, 7, their defensive line, they got dudes up front. And they do a lot of stunts, and they just bring pressure. They're just very physical, high motor defense, and I know that Coach Cristobal will get those guys ready.
How impactful was the crowd that night, and just what did it mean for you and the team?
Yeah, it was amazing to see everybody come out and basically take over the Caesars Superdome. I feel like it was an Ole Miss home game at times because it was just so loud whenever we would make a play, and I always heard the hotty toddy chants, and it was just really cool to see all the support and love that we got in New Orleans.
Trinidad, regardless of how the waiver turns out, now you're being talked about as either an NFL guy or a guy who would certainly be welcome back to a college roster. I was just curious, what was your backup plan? Or if you had to take a regular job, had you thought about that, or what would have been the plan?
Yeah, I'd like to play football as long as I can, as long as God allows me to. But to be honest, I have thought about that, and I feel like I have great connections with a lot of people from back home in Michigan, and obviously here in Ole Miss now. And I'm not sure really what I would want to do, but I know that I would try my best in whatever that might be.
Trent, I know you've been asked a lot, and it showed your mom a lot on the broadcast. I went back and watched it. What has she meant to you, and what has your family meant to you during this run?
Yeah, my mom and dad played a pivotal role and just a great role in my whole life. I mean, they sacrificed so much for me to get to this position that I'm in right now, and I feel like, it was always the goal to get where I am right now, and it's just amazing, I'd just say that, I don't think they'd ever doubted that I could get to this position right now, and without their love and support, I mean, I don't know where I would be, and I just got to give thanks to them because they've just poured so much into me.
You talked about Lucas Cardinero after the game, but what were your thoughts about his performance and how much he was able to will this team to victory in the Sugar Bowl?
Yeah, Lucas is a stud. He's the best kicker I've ever seen, ever played with, and he's got ice in his veins. Coach Golding was saying that in our walkthrough the day before the game, he had missed 2 in a row within the same range. I don't know if it was as far as the ones in the game, but that happened, and for him to go out there, with the game on the line, and early on in the game, we had to get those 2 field goals, which was critical. And I mean, the game we only won by 3, so. Yeah, I mean, Lucas is a stud. We have all of our trust and faith in Lucas when it comes to situations like that, and we don't doubt him.
It was also shown that you and Austin went to go find Gunnar Stockton afterwards. I guess, what was your message to him afterwards, and how did you kind of rate what he did in the Sugar Bowl as well?
Can you repeat that?
I said it was shown that you and Austin went to go find Gunnar Stockton after the game. What was your message to him afterwards, and how would you kind of evaluate how he played against the Ole Miss team?
Yeah, that he's a great player. They played a hell of a game. People were saying that, me and Gunnar Stockton is like must see TV, and it's really cool. I feel like it's really good for the sport to have great quarterbacks go against each other. And Gunnar Stockton is a great quarterback, and he's had a heck of a career so far.
Trinidad, I heard that Coach Golding at halftime was very calm and reserved, and just said, "Hey guys, let's just stick to the game plan, and we'll be okay."
Yeah, I mean, he said that we have 30 minutes left. We need to execute in the second half. We felt like we didn't play our best, and we felt like we, I guess, left out some things, defensive-wise and offensively that, we could have executed on. And, yeah, he was pretty calm. He just kept it simple, It's us. We just have to focus in the second half, and it has to be our second half, really.
The other thing that maybe us reporters haven't asked enough about, but is with Corey Adams, and it felt like the guys were really bringing him up after the Sugar Bowl. But how much has he been on your mind and the team's mind as this run continues?
Yeah, it was very just a tragic thing that happened before the season. I personally wasn't that close with Corey. I just got here in the summer as well, but from what I've heard and from what a lot of people that were close to him, that he was just a bright light. He was always just smiling, enjoyed life, enjoyed being around football, and enjoyed being around the guys as well. And for us to have the season that we're having means a lot, and I feel like that's really him. He is a part of that, and I feel like he's watching us and he's guiding us through each game.
Okay, we'll take questions on Zoom. Jackson Shaw.
Hey, Trinidad. Despite all the noise in the media with coaching drama and things like that, how are you as a leader able to stay focused and kind of prepare this team for Thursday to face Miami?
Yeah, we're really not focused on all that outside stuff right now, and with reporters or anyone else like reporting stuff that's, I guess, not true or anything like that. We're just focused on Miami and putting our best foot forward for them.
Luke.
Hey, Trinidad. So there's been a lot, of course, that's been said throughout the playoffs about Miami's pass rush, and I'm just curious from your vantage point, what are some ways that a quarterback can neutralize a very effective pass rush, just in general?
I would just say, helping your offensive line out. We know that they're very physical up front, and they can get to the quarterback very quickly. So just having a timer in my head of, getting rid of the ball, getting back to my check down, and then, making a decision to scramble and run and get vertical. And then also just step up in the pocket, and then just knowing when to scramble and when not to. But, yeah, they're a very physical front, and we just have to be ready for them.
Go with O'Connell R.
Hey, Trinidad. Before you committed to Ole Miss, when you first met with Coach Kiffin and Coach Weiss and just went over tape with them, went over the offense, can you describe kind of what those initial conversations were like and just how strong a sense you had of how your play that you brought from Ferris might work in this attack?
Yeah, that's one of the big things, the biggest takeaways that I had from my visit is, watching film, what they thought that they had in their offense or what in their scheme that I could provide or what they saw, me being out there in their offense. And I liked what I saw, just everything when it came to the run game, the pass game, RPO, just situational stuff as well. It felt good, and it felt like the type of feeling I had at Ferris when we were rolling as well there. And I just had a good feeling with it.
Heather Dinich.
I was curious about your perspective on two different playoff formats, having gone through two different playoff formats now. What do you like about this? How is your body held up? How are they different? Just overall thoughts on two different ways of getting to a national championship.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think the Division II playoffs is 32 teams. So it's more playoff games instead of, a 12 team. But I think this is a pretty good, playoff. I think a lot more people would probably think that they want more teams to be in it. I know that there were some fans that were upset with Notre Dame and them not getting in, but I think this is a good playoff. It's unlike anything other. It's just the same, really. Playoff football is playoff football. It's win and go home. So your season's on the line. So just win. That's it, really.
Manny with The Athletic.
Hey, Trinidad, I'm just curious, before you got this opportunity, took over as a starting quarterback, and even got to Ole Miss, just what were you sort of envisioning for your life? You're at the end of the road, kind of at Ferris State, right? Graduating soon and all that. Just what was your life plan before this opportunity came about?
Yeah, so my decision to come to Ole Miss was, play football, put my best foot forward, and hopefully get on the field and contribute to the team. And I think the season, went well for me so far. And the decision was, I felt really good with it, and I felt good that, this was the right spot for me. I like the coaching staff. I like the scheme. I like the team. And now, it was the end of my career so far. Hopefully I get another year. But, it was just going to play ball and then just see what I wanted to do after, pursue the NFL. I know I want to play football as long as I can, so we'll see about that. And then if that's not the case, then we'll see then. I'm not sure yet.
What did you get your degree in, or what were you getting in?
Yeah, so originally it was at Ferris before everything kind of was scrambled, was business administration. And then now it's multidisciplinary studies. So, yeah. Yep.
Jose, go ahead.
Trinidad, man, weather's beautiful out here in AZ. Looking forward to seeing you out here. Just want to know from a player's perspective, your thoughts on just the nature of college football. You've been in the transfer portal, you've seen how it all works, you've seen how things happen so quickly. You just want to get your take on all of that these days.
Yeah, I feel like college football is great so far. I feel like it's the greatest sport in all of college athletics, and I'm biased because I play the sport. But I think it's really good right now. I feel like the transfer portal is really well. I feel like NIL is really great for all student athletes across any sport, and I think that it's moving forward in the right direction.
Jackson Shaw again.
Trinidad, this group seems, as tight-knit as it comes. Coach Golding touched on the faith that you guys share. Just what does this group mean to you, and what does the season mean to you as a player?
Yeah, this group is special. I think we realized that after beating LSU, and then, even when we lost to Georgia during the regular season, how we reacted and how we overcame, playing Oklahoma on the road. The conditions weren't that good. They were the number one defense at the time. And then we ended up winning, and then we just continued to win and just continued to find ways to win, really. And I just love this team so much, man. I can't express how much this team means to me, and just everyone involved with that. And it's just great so far.
Okay, any more questions on Zoom? Okay, thanks, Trinidad.
Appreciate you guys.